if you seen a guy on a one wheel taking dogs pictures,
Dog photos, portraits of dogs.
Portraits of dogs, stopping strangers, asking like, hey, can I take a picture of your dog? Well, here he is, Mr. Keegan Robin. All right, guys, welcome to Behind the Pwel, number, I don't remember, number 6, 7. All right, I haven't done those Behind the Pwel in English in a while, so if you hear a weird accent, it's because I'm actually a francophone from Montreal, Quebec. Today I have a special guest, good friend of mine. The guy has 1.7 million followers on TikTok, almost 500,000 on Instagram, and 15,000 on YouTube?
Yeah, that's
out there
for over 10 to 15 years of YouTubing.
I mean, like, you can be all over, but still, you're doing pretty good on all those platforms. And the most important thing is that he did that without an OnlyFans, and also without going to every malls in the world with big piles of cash, okay? Let's just dive in a little bit on, how we met and what's the backstory. Then we'll talk about what you do on social media right now, all your dog photography, which is leading you to travel a lot. So how do we tie our relation, dog photography, and grooming? Well, the goal is like...
recording?
Huh? Oh, shit. Is it?
No, that's okay. We recorded everywhere else, so now it's going to switch to better audio.
And now it's going to sound even better for the rest of the podcast.
Yeah,
good thing we got this.
So yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about how we met. We're going to talk about what you do on social media. And since you travel a lot to sometime remote places, well, we're going to chat about grooming while being on the road. From what I see right now, I mean, there's been a little lack of self-care, but...
usually I would take care of myself before, but I wanted to prove that I haven't been able to do it for the last couple. So I just left everything as is.
Yeah, I mean, once
this podcast.
Once you're not in your element and you're traveling, it must be a lot more difficult to handle all that. So
usually I can manage, but we'll talk about it in a bit.
All right. And I mean, since Keegan has found its way to be successful on TikTok and social media, well, we're gonna finish that with a couple tips and recommendation about how can you improve or how can you do your own thing on those platforms and get better at it. So me and Keegan, we met.
I love this story.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm proud of this story, to be honest, because it was I definitely went outside of my comfort zone, my shell, when we met. So I mean, essentially I just came here for a haircut. I just recently moved to Verdun, and I mean, maybe a few months later I was like, before that I kept walking by, I look in the shop, I'm like, oh, that looks pretty cool, this shop. I just kept walking by. But then one day I came in for the haircut, and at the end, I'm like, man, your shop is, I love your shop. Like, I actually made conversation, which is something I don't often do. Actually, back then, I didn't do it as much as I do these days. But I made conversation. I'm like, hey, I like your shop. I used to watch, I still do, but I used to watch even more like all these YouTubers, and they'd be like, oh yeah, just go and talk to people in shops, and like these are the kind of videos you can make with like whip transitions and whatnot, and they're making product videos and shop videos for small businesses. And I was like, can I make you a video? I'll do it for free. Yeah,
at that time I was actually myself was kind of during COVID or during one of the breaks or just right after. That's what, like 2 years and a half ago, kind of.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were kind of stuck in that. To make a long story short, we opened our business 6 months before the pandemic. Then we got shut down for multiple months, not knowing what to do. And I mean, it was always in our plan to shoot content for YouTube and do online content. And then, lockdown, like, what better time to do with our time than shoot content? But when you don't know what you're doing, it's a little bit scary at first. I started doing it on my phone, playing like I did what I could with what I had. After a few videos, like, that thing is more tricky and complicated than expected. And Keegan came in. I was actually looking at doing a little promo video to do some ads for our shop to try to get back on our feet after the pandemic. And that's kind of how it started. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
you show me your stuff. It was like pretty in line with the kind of like vibe and style we're looking for. And
Well, we worked a little bit through the pandemic, right? That's when we started. Yeah, it was perfect because it gave us plenty of time to learn and sit down and you know, not do anything else but really create content, right? No one was coming in the store. I mean, you couldn't come in the store, so we came in the store and we were making content, and it was really perfect timing. I think I came for my haircut just before the pandemic. It must have been. And then we got into making videos during the pandemic, and we were just hammering out video after video.
Yeah, we're just coming in, like closing the door, nobody in the shop, and just like shooting like 4, 5, 6 YouTube videos. Like I say, even for myself, that was really bringing me outside of my comfort zone, like a little bit like you. And it's something I knew the business had to do. I was kind of hoping that somebody other than me would do it. But you know what? When shit hits the fan and like the only thing you can do is try to do something to save your business, all your saving, your time.
Yeah.
I was like, well,
might as well. Yeah, exactly.
That's it. Let's do this. Let's try. And hopefully people are going to like. And if they don't, well,
what else can you do?
That's what I told myself when the pandemic hit, is like, you know what? It would be easy to just give the keys back to the bank and go like, hey, I'm going to go back to my like 6-figure job and be like, you know, wealthy but miserable.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know what? If I got to go back there, I want to be able to tell myself that I'm going to have done everything in my power to make it work.
Yeah.
So I really started like, nobody was doing content in French Québécois back then on grooming, or maybe like 1 or 2 brands that were just bragging about like, you know, how good their beard oil were. But educational stuff, even in like the barbering, like how people take care of themselves at home and stuff. So it was all that thing we tried to put together in a format where people would kind of relate to, and it kind of worked.
Yeah, I gotta say too, it was a fantastic learning experience for me too. I've always cared about hairstyles, and I didn't have a beard for a long time, but I guess I started growing the beard around this time as well. But I've always cared about hairstyling and whatnot, and you know, keeping good, you know, grooming. Outward appearance, I guess. So, but I didn't know anything about grooming, about taking care of myself, about products, about everything you teach on your channel. And so for me, shooting these videos was also a way for me to just to learn. And I was editing at the same time, and also like learn everything in French too.
Yeah. Like, it was kind of funny that like I had somebody to learn how to make content from, and you were learning how to take care of yourself and to how to, like, you know, which pomade would you use.
Exactly.
And you played like the model for a few videos as well.
Yeah.
So
and boom, I was getting paid at the same time. No, but truthfully, it was actually so useful I'm very grateful for that, because it was the pandemic and everybody else stopped paying. You know, at the beginning of the pandemic, I lost so much. I lost maybe 15, 20K worth of gigs that got canceled. I was doing event photography. All these gigs within the next year got canceled, so I lost all that money. But it was, so that's why it was super nice to come in and start shooting.
I know you when we started, you had your own YouTube channel already, doing some like equipment review, a little bit of a creative photography tutorials and stuff.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing that for? Was that something you had just started, or it's like a few years in the making?
No, oh my God, that YouTube channel has been around for a long time. I started in high school as I've been a musician my whole life, so I started in high school making music videos for myself. So I would start from scratch. It's covers of popular music. That's what I would do. So I would re-record the songs myself from scratch, play piano, drums, and everything. And then I would record the vocals. And then I would make a YouTube video about it. And some of those videos got some decent views. Like, I think my best video got 15,000 views or something, my best cover. And that was near the end of the time that I was doing music videos on YouTube. Then I slowly went into photography gear videos, like video gear videos. And I made a couple of, like, you know, you should use this camera, you should try this camera, reviews, etc. So since high school, how long has this YouTube channel been going? like I said, maybe 15 years now, maybe more, you know?
Yeah, like people just see what's going on now, and they're like, "Oh my god!" Like if I do exactly what he's doing now, and
oh my
like
god,
there's so much, and like that's what people just see it for what it is for the time being, but they don't see all the time, the year. Like I've been doing it for not even 3 years, and like I still feel it's starting to like grow. There's one thing I like though about the YouTube algorithm, that it's gonna make you work, and there's no bullshit. Like, and it's not gonna make you unless you're on that like 0.2%. Like I'm doing content in French Québécois, which is super niche, but you're gonna get these 5 subscribers a week, and then it's gonna go up to 10 and like 15, and you have to continue to make content, like optimize your stuff, check your analytics, and try to make it better. Like, and honestly, like I love that more than all these other platforms where like, one post is going to go to 2 million and the other one is going to go to 500,000, and then it's going to go to shit, and you're going to be like, So we had that discussion when you came in about Instagram, actually. Like, how did you get from all that YouTube? Like, I remember like we were shooting videos for YouTube for my channel. I've been doing TikTok on and off for a year or two. I had some stuff that did well, but didn't pay too much attention there. And then you told me, like, hey, we should definitely go, like, do a few TikToks. Or when we shoot those YouTube videos, because I think we're starting to get some sort of like a traction on dog pictures. Dog videos. Like, how did you came up with that idea? How did it all started? Was it like, because now, like, I mean, you have 1.7 million people following you on TikTok because of that.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
That's a pretty successful recipe. Like, well, what's the backstory of that? Like, how you came up with that idea?
I started, well, during the pandemic, as we started making videos, I was shooting self-portraits, creative portraits, and I built maybe 20,000 followers. No, actually more, like 200,000 maybe.
Yeah,
so I realized like there's potential here in TikTok, but I noticed like that niche was limiting me, right? It was very, very niche, and I was starting to, I guess, plateau.
It was also very crowded. Like,
other people were doing this too. So my views dropped off, and I took some time off, just kind of posted random TikTok videos. But then one day, well, I have to say at the beginning that this whole story is my sister told me much earlier. She's like, you should just do pictures of dogs. And I just never did it. So I was like, whatever. I never did it. But then 1 month, when was this? Oh, maybe 2.5 years ago, I decided to challenge myself to a photography challenge, a 30-day photo challenge where I would take 1 photo per day.
Yeah.
And not just 1 photo, but 1 shutter click. So I wasn't allowed to press the shutter more than once per day. So that means if I screwed up the photo, I'd still have to post it. If it was blurry, if it was, if I had the wrong settings. So I just wanted to get better as a photographer and go out every day to shoot. So on the 11th day of this challenge in the month, I decided to walk up to a group of strangers sitting in a circle with a little golden retriever puppy in the middle. And I just walked up. I was like, hey, can I take a picture of your dog? I'm doing this for my photo challenge. And I had been filming this whole interaction because I was making a YouTube video out of this challenge, for this 30-day challenge. I was like, well, this makes a great little video by itself. Yeah. So I cut it together. I posted it on TikTok randomly. I posted it on just TikTok, not even Instagram. Reels weren't even big back then. It's 2 years ago. Yeah. And it got 4 million views.
4 million views. And
like prior to this, I hit maybe one video got like 1.3 million views or something. One of my creative portrait videos. Yeah. So I was like, whoa, 4 million views. I'm doing photography, which I love. Yeah. I also love dogs. So the next day, I tried the same thing again with another puppy. I went up to another dog, and that one got 2 million views the next time. It's like,
Yeah, and then the whole like kind of what was that whole kind of setup where, because I mean you've been using your one wheel for a long time. Like
I would
see
roll
you
up
like
one wheel.
one wheeling around Wellington Street or like going take some pictures and coming back.
I was literally just out doing what I would do normally. One wheel, and I'd bring my camera with me to just shoot whatever. But now I was aiming for dogs.
And that whole setup where because you're doing all that by yourself, you don't have somebody following you or whatever, and you made it so seamless that you're filming yourself getting, finding a dog,
Oh my God.
that whole interaction.
I love how
is,
this system happened. you
like
know?
it just like so ingenious and streamlined that people would think you have 2-3 people following you, and totally not. You're doing all that by yourself.
Yeah, it's really cool. I have this 360-degree camera at the end of a long selfie stick. That stick gets erased in the footage. It's some kind of like magic that happens when you're editing 360 footage. Insta360. They're great cameras. So it's on the end of a stick, and I just put the stick on my shoulder, and the camera's like sticking out like an antenna behind me. And that camera is super cool because I can choose the angle of view after, so I can select where. I could have it look in front of me, I can have it look behind, I can have it look anywhere. So I have that, and I also have a GoPro on my chest, so it records my voice and it records whatever's in front of me. So between those two cameras, that's all I need to go out by myself and make this content. And I was really adamant about not needing to find a friend to come with me every time, because I have 0 friends. So no, I'm just kidding. But no one who wants to come out
on this one.
But like I just wanted to be able to go out anytime I want and do this. And I figured it out with that little setup. It's a great setup.
Yeah, because I mean, often you're limited by time, you're limited by equipment.
Yeah.
So that's another thing we were discussing, like setting up in a way where it's easy. Like, because sometimes, I mean, it's like going to the gym, it's like going to whatever. Like, you don't really feel in the mood, but you have to do it.
Yeah. Oh, God.
And it just because, I mean, not all days are equal, and
that's true.
when it's easy, you just get out and you do it. So like, you're not gonna say like, I don't want to take the time to set up. My goddamn camera is not charged, or I have to call this guy. It's like no, pack and go, and you give yourself that little kick in the butt you need, and it's not limiting you.
And so I'm always making sure my cameras, at the end of a day, I plug my cameras in. They're charged for the next time I want to go out. It's ready. It's on the chest mount. It's on the stick.
Yeah.
I just have to pick it up and go. The easier, the better. The less resistance to going out to create, the better. That's why I like setting up your studio in your basement for your videos. Is a permanent setup is the best you can do to do
exactly.
yourself. You just want to sit down and press record.
I would totally like. I mean, you were like permanent setup. I was like, do I really need that? Like, like
yeah, exactly.
We set that up one time. I had to bring all the equipment to the shop to shoot some other stuff. Get back home, and like unfortunately, I didn't write down my settings. I didn't like mark my stuff, and it now I'm getting a hang of it. Like, I know what ISO is. I know, like, I'm not a photographer or videographer by any means, but I have some decent understanding on how it works. But still, you don't want to spend time to always reset, redo, because it's removing the little time that we have. Like, we don't have a goddamn crew. Like, we're like me and him.
Yeah.
Like, we spent about, like,
2-3 years doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we spent about like an hour to set up all the gear, the cameras, the microphones, the lights.
It's a lot.
And it's still probably not going to be perfect, but at least we're, like I always say, like, doing it is the hardest part of it.
Yeah, that's it. What was I going to say? The resistance. But going back to your point about oh shit, I forget what it was. Oh yeah, the like, it's not always easy, and it's like excitement. That's the point that I want to go back to. It's like, I'm not, every time I go out to take pictures of dogs, I'm not excited to do it every single time, right? Sometimes I'm like, I really feel like doing this today, but most of the time, I'm not very excited to go and do it. It's just like, it becomes more of a, I don't want to make it sound like I don't want to do it, but it's more like how do I put it? Like that day, it's just maybe I'm not feeling like going out and talking to people, and like interacting and going to, like, because you have to almost put on a character. I'm still myself when I go out and talk to people, but I'm, as an introvert, it's more of an extroverted thing that I need to do. So I really need to be in that mood. And if I'm not, but I have to go out and make videos anyways for a brand or for myself, got to do it no matter what. It's kind of part of it. Same if you're shooting a YouTube video and just like that day I'm just not feeling like at the top of your game. No, you still have to turn it on.
And that's kind of what I like. To me, I'm somebody like, maybe we're gonna have the same feeling on that, where I need to kick myself in the butt. Like, I need to put myself into, like, if it, like, how do you call that freaking word in English?
Like, discipline yourself, motivate yourself.
when it's always the same thing. Routine, yeah.
Routines, yeah.
Like, I mean, when I'm into like some sort of a like routine for a long time, like I get bored and I start not liking what I do. So by doing these things where I don't feel like doing it, that's not something I feel comfortable do it. But to kick myself in the butt, do it, and then realize that people love it, people kind of engage with it, it changed something in people's life. It just like make things like we're doing a podcast today. Like I mean, that's not something I've been chatting with a few peoples about beard and stuff, but still, that's you gotta say like yes, you can prepare for it. I mean, thanks to ChatGPT now, but I mean, you just got to do it, and once you do it, you find out what people like, what they don't. And like there's always that, like I've been planning to do videos for probably 5 or 6 years before I had the guts to
actually
do
sit
it.
down.
Because we always want to make sure everything's going to be perfect.
Oh, I always have these problems too, like especially if I have maybe a travel video that I've shot, like a YouTube video. Getting into the edit is the hardest part for me. It's like I'm always like, oh, I don't think I've shot enough, or I don't know where the story's gonna go. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this edit, et cetera, et cetera. There's all these variables that's resistance. That's what I like that word a lot. It's just a resistance to moving forward, to creating. And what I've realized is it's so simple that you just have to take that one next step, or take the first step, whatever it is. Just take the step, and then that will lead you to taking the next step and the next step. When you're walking, you have to take the first step.
Yeah, and like your videos that you do with dogs now, they're the same kind of format, but I see they're changing over time. They're adapting, you're adapting it, you're tweaking it, you're making little, adding little stuff, removing little stuff. And
trying different things to see what works in the algorithm. It's very...
That's the thing, like once you have a format that's working, you're like, what if I would do it differently? Would it work better or not?
Yeah.
So you kind of like I'm always challenging myself to throw a curveball once in a while, because you never know what's going to work. Like
definitely worth it. And also, what triggers those changes also are when the algorithm stops really feeding your videos out.
Yeah.
And it's not just the algorithm. When you think about it, it's really the fans and the audience. Like if they've seen the same thing over and over again, which I believe is happening to me right now. If people see the same thing over and over and over again, they know what to expect at the end of the video. They know what to expect from the beginning of the video, then they're just going to skip it, and that reflects in the algorithm right away. So if you can keep the people who are watching your content interested by switching things up and by changing up things in your video and just throwing them curveballs, that's going to keep them interested, and that's going to feed the algorithm.
Yeah, and it's going to change. It's going to put you out of your comfort zone a little bit, and it's going to make you like not getting into that routine where everything is the same all the time. Like, because once you get there, some people are okay with that. Like, some people do the same job over and over, rinse and repeat all their life, and they're happy about it. I tried that for 15, 20 years.
Couldn't do that. I've never tried it.
I
tried that.
I did. I had kids at a young age. I had to like do the normal life where you get 9 to 5 RSPs and that shit. Until I said, you know what, I wanted to have my own business or doing my own stuff since I was a kid, and ended up saying like, hey, money at the end of the week, if it doesn't make you happy, like it's just a number. So
yeah, it's true. I mean, I've never been able to. This is the reason I've always relied on social media and my own creation, not just social media, just like creativity and whatnot, is because I can't work for the man. I just can't take direction. I think it's a fault of mine, to be honest. Like I have a big ego. I have a hard time. I got to work on this. Taking direction from people, because I see a certain way of doing things, and when someone has a different way, I like to take that. But if someone only wants it done a certain way, and I don't agree with that way, I just
when you work for somebody else, even if the person gives you a lot of responsibility, it still has to be made to the requirements and to reach the goal of that boss or that business owner or that person. So you're never gonna be able to deliver 100% of what you want to do. In some cases you might, but there's always that thing where we're gonna do that, but in 6 months from now, or but maybe not this way or whatever. Now it's like, what, personally, I never feel like working. Like, it's my day off today. Like, I'm here shooting a podcast with you, and I didn't say, oh, I gotta go do this thing again because I
Yeah.
gotta put some stuff. No, it's
But it's
like
fun. Yeah, exactly. It's not like you dread going to do this stuff or going to work. I'd never dread going out to work. I like
that's
to
the thing.
sit down on my phone to post something. I don't dread it because
You're doing it
it's,
for
it's
yourself.
for progression.
You're-
It's a progress.
You
Yeah.
want you want to progress in what you do. You want like make things better. You have an idea like. Yeah, it's 9:30 at night. I'm watching TV. I have an idea. Like, I'm not gonna say like, oh yeah, like it's my time off. I'm gonna wait tomorrow morning to like write it down on my phone. Like,
Yeah.
'cause if I do that, I'm not gonna write it down on my
No,
phone.
exactly.
anyways.
Write it down. You're kind of in the content creation world. There are no times. There are hardly any days off. You're always thinking about it. It's always like on your mind at least once a day or whatever, like multiple times a day. But yeah, if you find an idea, especially when inspiration strikes, because it's a creative industry as well, right? So if inspiration strikes and you wait on that, it fizzles away. So it's really important to jump on that right away, whether that's just marking it down with a note and being like, okay, blah, blah, blah. You're going to type out bullet points for your next video. You're going to write down your ideas, or you immediately act on that thought, that inspiration, and you film a video for 30 minutes.
Yeah,
and
because
then
it goes
work
so
on it
fast
later.
that what's working now might not be working tomorrow. So like, if the ball is rolling for you, like do as much as you can, and you still need to think like when shit is gonna hit the fan or the algorithm is gonna change. We were talking about that this morning.
Yeah.
It's like, do you get discouraged sometime?
Oh, yeah. All the time.
Yeah. I know for a fact like it goes super well and then it all goes to shit because they decided to change the algorithm or they decided to like
Phases.
yeah
It's all
phases. Like sometimes like even for us sometimes it's going well on TikTok, sometimes it's going well on Instagram, sometimes it's going better on like there's that conflict between the platforms where I mean let's already read at Facebook unless you pay money or you have a like huge following. But now Facebook Reels, we were talking about it this morning. It's coming back. They're trying to bring attention to the platform.
Yeah.
So it's always changing. It's always evolving. And how do you not put all your eggs in the same basket when you have something that's going on, that is going super well?
Yeah.
It's pretty hard to do. Like, I mean, I'm getting millions of views every time I post on TikTok. And then like, yeah, I'm not going to spend as much time on Instagram. But then, like,
You have to
6
both.
months after, it might be the opposite. So how do you kind of handle that kind of do you post on multiple platforms? Do you post on one more than the others? Like, do
That's
you
what
have
we're
some
talking about.
moments where you're like, "Asti calice"?
Yeah.
Can I swear in French? And like, do you English people like understand French swearing?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Especially Quebec swearing. It's very...
Yeah, it's a little bit special. We're special and we know it.
Well,
So speaking of Quebec, like where are you from?
I'm
exactly?
from Ontario. From Windsor, Ontario first. 20 years, and then I moved here for school
Okay.
about 11, 12 years ago now. And I've been in Montreal since. So like this is home now for sure. Montreal. Verdun is now home actually.
And how was handling the French aspect for you?
C'était pas de problème parce que je parle français. It's very bad. See, I have to think about vocabulary a lot, so that's my issue. But I understand French very, very well. And if I have to, I definitely can get by when I speak French with non-English speakers, like francophones only. But I went to French high school, French grade school, so it was all my classes were in French and everything. But I was surrounded by Anglophone people, so we were always speaking English. So that's where my English isn't fully there. My vocabulary isn't all the way because I learned everything like educationally, academically was French.
Okay.
So I was learning all these terms in French and never in English. And then, I would have my conversations with friends and everything and my parents in English. So it's like a little weird.
Yeah, so like
there.
it's
Two
not
languages.
as easy as it sounds. Like even if like let's not go into politics, but like it's very hard. Me as a francophone, like I was born a francophone. I would fight the Anglo kids all my youth ages because that's it was
exactly.
what
That's
it
what you
was
did.
back then. Like we didn't know why, but we had to
Yeah.
get in fight with the Anglos and like vice versa. It was the 80s. It was like, I don't know where it's coming from, but that was it until like my mom got out. It was like, what are you doing with that like piece of like metal or whatever? Like, I'm going to fight the Anglos. And I'm like, what? Why is that? He's like, well, and I was like, yeah, why am I doing that?
why am I going to
It's very weird, like that. That's where it's coming from. And now people are, why do you speak English all the time? It's like, well, it's not my first language.
You kind of have to now, especially running a business or you have Anglophones come in.
Oh yeah, well, I
haircuts.
mean, like you have no choice, but the thing is, sometimes it can be perceived badly from French speakers because, like, well, you're a francophone. Why do you speak English all the time? Is like,
Oh yeah.
I'm like, if I have chances to interact in English, I'm gonna take them because else I'm gonna lose it. Like I didn't learn like most people here. I didn't learn English at high school. Like you barely have some courses that are gonna. You're going to see Mrs. Doubtfire in English and, like, you're going to have a test at it and, like, here we go. Kind of learned the hard way of being stuck with a guy that didn't speak French and had to figure it out.
Yeah.
Now, like, if I don't speak it for a while, I kind of lose it. Like,
but same with me for
same
French.
Same thing for your French. So, like, it shouldn't be perceived badly for a Francophone to speak English when he can, and same thing for an Anglophone. I mean,
it's true.
You're trying to maintain some knowledge that you have that you just don't want to lose. So,
there are moments where in my life where I've completely surrounded myself in French and with French people, and it was so beneficial for my French and my improvement, and just like not even improvement, just like relearning, just getting better again at speaking French. And so it's I think if you have that chance to like surround yourself with the opposite language as much as you can for a month or for a week, whatever, it's super beneficial.
Yeah, same thing for for content production. That's the same thing. Like if you do, we do our content in French, so there's a lot of people from France that see our content, which I think it's about 50%.
Oh wow.
I guess they don't understand most of what we say because our French is a little bit special.
There's that word again. That word again. It's a special Québécois.
Special, but it's kind of a bit limiting too. That if I would be doing the same content in English. But at the same time, I would have a lot more competition. So it's kind of hard because I always wanted to do content in both languages. Started in French because, that's what I was comfortable doing. And then slowly starting to try to do some in English. At the same time, like, I am getting comfortable in French. So why just reset and get back to
English,
not being comfortable and do something different. So
that's it. That's the uncomfort thing that's important.
So how do you see your dog talking dog video, dog picture moving forward? Like how do you plan? Do you plan to continue to do that for a while? Do you plan to like focus more on it? Are you happy doing you got like a huge boom doing that. You're doing that, but is that something that's making you happy, and is it sustainable for you to do just that?
Yeah, no, I think it is pretty sustainable if not just doing the same content over and over again, which is what we already talked about. But I do see myself, let's fast forward like maybe 5 years or whatever. In the future, I do see myself opening up my channel to more like animal welfare issues. I just want to start meeting people, and I've done this already. I have a video in the works currently. It's like a little documentary piece about a lady who is taking care of 6 dogs now, I think, in wheelchairs. Okay. And she like brings these dogs in from around the world who've been abused, and she's, who have like, this is very graphic warning, they have had their legs cut off or something like that. She brings them in.
Yeah, I think I saw a little of your clip with the little dogs with wheels.
Yeah, exactly. She brings them in, she puts them in wheelchairs and takes care of them and gives them an amazing life afterwards. And so I just want to keep meeting with these types of people and creating documentaries about them and showing this goodness to the world, because my channels are very positive. Like I want to make sure that I hold on to that positivity. But there are a lot of issues in the world that I'd like to bring to light through the people who are trying to make these positive changes. And this is what I want to do, because I have a platform and I feel like I have now a sort of responsibility to maintain that, and maybe going to dog shelters and like not only taking photos of the dogs there, but also bringing into light the people who are like taking care of these dogs.
The little backstory of like there's so much good stuff you can do with videos right now, like especially when you think about dog shelters or people like helping out. They don't have the financial resources, or they do it out of very limited funding. They don't have that money to spend $5,000 on a little a video to advertise what they're doing and then get more help. So
no, and if I can bring this to them for free through my platform, and this also goes along with the future, is work with brands to continue to support my creation, then I can make these videos for this lady, for example, for completely free, give them the exposure they need, and also still continue to fund my own life just to make money myself as a business. If I can do those in parallel, that would be amazing, right?
Yeah, because we've been discussed, that's something we've been talking about since I think we met. It's like, oh, I have something going on, like there's a lot of people following me, I have a lot of views and stuff. I spend a lot of money and time, all that equipment, all that time. It costs money to make content.
Oh yeah, for sure. And travel.
Yeah, and you were always like, how the hell can I monetize? I'd say monetize, but that's not really the term I want to use, because you gotta get something in return that's gonna allow you to do that.
To continue.
You can we're not millionaires just doing that for fun.
No.
We love to do it, but if it's costing us money to do it, we can only do it to a certain extent.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's always kind of like that money discussion. It's always kind of maybe sometimes perceived negatively, like you're trying to make money out of something, but you gotta make money out of it to do more and to do better.
Just to be able to continue. And I think the audience, my audience will, our audiences, in fact, will understand that we have to do this kind of thing. Like, I'm going to have to work with brands and show them ads in order to continue to fund what I'm making, the free content, essentially, that I'm making for them. But I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Like, I want to make money, too. It's like, I'm a I feel like entrepreneurship is a little bit of a part of me, and the more I do this, the bigger that part of me is becoming as an entrepreneur. And I want to make money too. I want to live, a comfortable life.
But yeah, we all need to eat, have a roof on top of our head, and fulfill our dreams. And if we can use our passions to do it,
100%.
Why not? But at the same time, we're giving so much value to people for free. That's basically what we're doing. We're giving them tips, recommendation, good time, good moment, good emotion, or whatever. So we're bringing people something.
Yeah.
We're not saying hey, you like my video, send me $5.
Oh yeah, I've never
asked. Not how it works.
I've tried. I've asked. I've put donation boxes on my link tree in the past. Actually, I'm using Beacons, not Linktree. Let's make that clear. I love Beacons. I put that and or buy me a coffee type things, and I feel bad asking. It almost feels like I'm a busker on the street, and not saying busking is not a good job or no fun or whatever. I just don't want to do that. I don't want to ask for money from my audience. They've got their money and they can take it. They can have my content for free. That's the whole idea behind social media. But where should I take the money from? Well, why not brands? Brands have the money to give the creators. This is where the money should come from, not taking it from the audience.
No, and if some brand and too there's always that kind of you want to make sure that the brands you're using or promoting, and sometimes it can only you don't even need to talk about it or whatever. You're just gonna using a certain piece of equipment or whatever. It has to be in line with the quality and your audience too. If, let's say by example, I wouldn't see you getting endorsed by Pedigree, or by very cheap dog food.
Yeah, no, it's it still has to be products that I believe in. I've worked with brands in the past, and not a lot though, because they have to be brands that I would either use or that work for me, or my girlfriend has a dog, and it has to be food that she would feed her dog. It's not I don't have a dog, so I can't. It's hard. See, that's where it gets a little complicated. I can't just say, hey, I use this dog food. I could. I use this dog food for treating dogs while I'm taking a photo of them or something. But
at the same time, you're gonna you have that opportunity to get people that follow you to be aware that those super niche brands of very good dog food or dog treat exist.
Yeah.
So it's beneficial for them as it's beneficial for you. It has to be like,
Yeah.
the relation has to be equal both ways.
Yeah.
Okay. Like if it's just too one-sided, you can by the way, just make sure you buy his 3 ebook that are gonna lead to our mastermind retreat in Honolulu in the next 3 months. So there's always these. I'm gonna lead you with something to sell you something. So écoute, that's not something.
There has to be value or benefit.
Yeah,
to
it
the
has to
person
be
paying money.
beneficial.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's it. I just want to the point is make money from brands, but still travel and I was in Costa Rica last month, and I saw a van on the side of a street that's sloth conservation, and I'm like, well, I didn't see anybody around this van, but I'm like, if I just saw somebody there, I'd love to just talk to them and make a video about that. I don't want to have to charge them to make a video about. I want to make a video, put it on my channel, give it to them, or do a collaboration post on Instagram where they benefit from me creating this content for completely free because I'm able to fund this through brand work. Simple.
That's it.
But anyways, I just finished that point of travel because I think it's a good segue into our next
I was
point.
going to say, the door is open,
Why not
Mr.
use it?
Keegan. So, let's dig into the most interesting part of what were the topics today. You traveled a lot in the last few years.
Yeah.
I see you going from freaking Costa Rica to Nicaragua to the US to Europe and stuff. So how did that started? Have you always been traveling like that, or you just kind of recently said, hey, you know what, I'm just gonna put my apartment for rent and move to remote places and shoot content?
The last year or so, a little more than a year now, it's been more intense traveling than usual, but I've traveled for work for years, for maybe 4 or 5 years now. And these little moments of traveling as a sound recordist, recording sound on documentaries. I did that. I went to New Zealand for a month to do that. So I've always traveled for work.
Okay.
But I never really traveled for, I guess, leisure or work leisure or remote work or whatever you want to call it until this year. And that is partly due to the fact that I didn't have the money to fund my own travels. So I would go when I had the opportunity, when it was given to me. But now that I'm doing the social media thing, that I'm able to make a bit of cash and use that to travel and fund my videos on the road, I started doing that. And so now I like to call myself a semi-nomad, I guess, in a way, where I have my apartment here in Montreal, but when I'm gone, I try to rent it out if I can. Yeah. If not, it's relatively affordable here in Verdun. But I like to just travel and make content on the road now, on a beach in Costa Rica or in Mexico or whatnot. And I've been to Costa Rica twice. Tulum, I went last month. LA, I go to the States to create my content.
So when you're on the road creating content, you have you have some sort of a plan in mind where I'm going to do this, that, or you kind of just pack your stuff and go?
No, usually it's a plan. Usually if I go somewhere, the States, not really, because I'm not allowed to work and make money in the States. So if I go to the States, it's just to hang out with some friends wherever I go. Or whatnot. But if I go to Costa Rica or something like that, sometimes it's to go and shoot for a festival, a music festival or something. It's shooting video. Generally it's documentary work of any kind of type, wherever I go. So, and that will either pay for travel or we'll exchange, a stay somewhere, a month stay somewhere for a small video or for some social media videos or whatnot. Okay. So now I travel with two of my best friends, and we're able to essentially fund our travels through work. So our cameras are essentially our tools to fund our travels, or just to save a ton of money. If it's going to cost $1,000 to $2,000 a month to stay somewhere while we're traveling, we'll pay for that through a little bit of work,
Okay. So do you do content for stuff that is planned, and you also take the opportunity to do content for your own platform, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, wherever I am, I will create content for my platform, I'll find dogs. I'll try to go places where there are dogs. Hopefully there are dogs. The nice thing, there are dogs everywhere.
Yeah, like,
people love dogs. Except, well, I mean, I went to Dubai last year and there were no dogs there. There were no dogs on the road. But everywhere
maybe
else
like
I've gone,
sand, like maybe they live in the sand or something.
I don't know. There were cats on the road, but no dogs. So generally, where I go, people everywhere I've gone, people
like, I mean,
love dogs.
that's one thing you really tapped in a niche.
It's a worldwide thing, really.
Yeah, well, I mean, people that like dog owners, like it's like their kids too. Like it's like, you know, they
exactly.
spend some time, they spend some money, they treat them like they're their babies. So I mean, there's all that emotional attachment to those little, you know, fury things with legs. I mean, you don't get that on a cat or something else. It's really something that's specific to dogs, and like I say, you really tapped in a niche where it's probably like one of the reasons why you get so much views and stuff. That there's a lot of people that love the dog all over the world, and whatever language you speak, I mean, they still see the interaction. So like, I mean, what you say during the videos doesn't have that much of an importance for somebody that doesn't speak English. Take, by example, somebody that speaks Spanish, Chinese, or whatever. It's still,
I'll try to make it work. I'll learn wherever I go. I'll learn in the language. Like, I'm a dog photographer. Can I take a photo of your dog or something like that? I'll try and learn that. And yeah, it works. It's been working for the last year, so I don't see me slowing down that much. And also it helps, like, wherever I do go. Like, last time I went to LA, that's where I met the woman who's taking care of the dogs in wheelchairs. And I was like, well, I might as well just head over there and shoot this. And it's still fun to go and do that wherever I go. And so I also spend a lot of time shooting in places where there are remote workers. So it's places where community happens and a lot of people meet and talk. So it gives me the opportunity to meet interesting people or maybe make connections, or like, what do you call it? Like a secondary connection, where it's like connection through someone, to meet someone who's doing some amazing thing that I can find. So,
and then how do you handle like these guys these guys while you're traveling? Because you're looking a bit scruffy today, which
I left it.
It's not I got back actually, a week ago. It suits you pretty well. Like, I mean, nothing wrong with that. But
usually it's shaven down to like one or two, here, and then it's usually stubble. Maybe not. Like, sometimes I'll let it grow. But I forgot my razor. I just got back last week from Mexico and Costa Rica, and I forgot my everything, all of my grooming. So I just let it grow, and I got through the itchy phase very quickly. About a week or two in, I got through that itchy phase, and I was like, okay, now it's kind of fine. And it works. I'm in the jungle. Why not just leave it?
So like, how does it go when you're in Costa Rica, by example? I see you send me some pictures. You were like barely like in some sort of a freaking camp near a beach or something. Like, I mean, do you have how's the showering and just like basic hygiene? Like, how do you handle that when you're in such places?
It depends on the situation. The first 2 weeks I was in Costa Rica this past trip, I spent it in a tent at a music festival. We were shooting a documentary for this music festival. They provided us a tent, and they provided all the staff at this festival just a little shower. Like, it's very dirty. Like, you have to go to the washroom in porta potties for 2 weeks. It's really not fun, to be honest. So like, it's not only did I forget my stuff, but if I did bring it, it would have been pretty hard to, like, there's no mirrors or anything either. Like, they don't give you anything. It's just like maybe a sink, maybe a mirror somewhere in a sink that you got to find. But it's just like a bunch of shower stalls, and that's it. So,
but then everybody's on the same kind of.
It doesn't
everybody's
matter.
on like, I'm doing what I can with what I have. So.
That's the point of the festival, exactly. It's a music festival in the middle of the jungle. There's nothing else around. The closest town is at least 10, 15-minute drive away. So it's like, and no one has a car. So it's just like, okay, well, we're just gonna let it be, let it grow. So that's what we do. It's very hippie.
Like, I mean, do you have any situation where, I don't know, like your head was so itchy, your face, or you was like, I stink so much, like, or whatever. Like, I mean, any particular situation that you're like looking back at it, you're like, oh my god, that was bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's generally like there's no, I don't have. I mean, I guess I shampoo twice a week normally, But there, I just couldn't really. I just didn't even have shampoo either. So it's like they don't supply soap. So I just had like a bar of biodegradable soap because, like I said, we're in the middle of the jungle. So
Yeah, I don't want to get like, you know, Irish Spring, like,
Yeah,
or
none of that
whatever
garbage.
brand that is full of
No,
chemical,
no,
like straight in the ocean. I mean, like,
Yeah, exactly.
Same time, like, there's no.
It's just a bit of soap. So just rinse the hair off, let it dry, and it's like a mop, you know, on my head. And so I just put a hat on. But it's just that itchy phase that I was like, oh my God, it was like 4 or 5 days of like, oh, I can't like stand this. But then after like that, it grew. And then for the next like 2 weeks, even after I did go into civilization, we could say, I stayed at like some hostels and like an Airbnb or whatnot. I just decided to leave it. And I let it get pretty scruffy.
It's kind of interesting because at the same time we're so used of using those chemicals and soaps and shampoos that strips away all the natural oils and you know all what our body naturally produce. Like let's get back like you know, a few hundred years back. I mean there was no soap available and people were still like you know. Maybe they were not that healthy. Like I wouldn't like I'm not an historian or whatever.
Yeah, you don't want to just never clean.
I mean, like there is these trends now of people not washing their hair anymore.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are actually way better this way, and like they don't sting. They like the natural oil that's in there does its thing.
Yeah.
Never tried it myself because I mean I don't have much left, you know. But
in Costa Rica it's humid too, so you don't have dry skin. You don't have to worry too much about your natural oils being dried out or whatnot. So like,
well, you still
I've
got
been
your
fine.
itchy phase growing your beard, so
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like that's the worst part when you're growing a beard, the 0 to like you know half an inch, because your natural oil kind of moves from your face to your whisker, and they're so small that I mean there's all that skin that's not getting moisturized anymore that gets super dry, flaky, itchy. Just want to like.
Yeah, it happens. It happened a little bit, but I'm surprised at how well I handled this thing throughout the month of being gone. So it's good, but I would like to probably figure out some way to easily maintain like maybe shape or something like on the road. Like I do want to come maybe next week and sit down in a chair and get the shape. Yeah. I've never actually had a beard cut. I've never come for an actual beard cut or beard shaping.
Yeah, exactly.
I've never done it.
I've never seen you with a beard that long anyway.
No, exactly. So now I'm like, oh, no, it's this long.
And actually, like it suits you pretty well. Like
I think
mean,
it works. Yeah.
The thing is,
this
like,
is a mess under here.
Yeah,
this
well,
is
I mean,
what needs to be cleaned up. A little bit.
We can discuss about mess and like it's that's one thing. Beards never grow
the same,
symmetrical on both sides of the face, and they're growing upwards at some part of the neck, and then they can grow in a bunch of different directions.
I've never known that. Well, from you saying that, I knew that, but I've never actually experienced it until now. Now this thing under here grows like so many different ways down here and
just
up
look,
here.
Look right here. I have actually like a cowl, what we call a cowlick, where my hair
it's like
spins.
a spiral.
A spiral. So when it's very short, it doesn't show. When it gets to a medium stage, it's a pain in the ass because it's just like poking from one side. So yeah, I literally have to kind of hide it with a little door, a little trap. And then when it gets longer, it's a bit more manageable. But that's one thing I spend a lot of time explaining to people is that what you see on those perfect Instagram pictures with that sharp line, it's all enhancement, it's airbrush, it's Photoshop, it's one dude out of a million. There's different types of beard. There's bushy, thick beard. There's long and flimsy, different type of hair, different type of growth patterns. I mean, you should never expect the beard to be 100% perfect. And the thing is, the more you try to make it perfect, the more the imperfection shows. Like, I mean, no, it's not perfect, but I mean, it's not perfect all over. If I try to make it perfect, since I have that little spiral of hell right here, it's gonna show. So at some point, you gotta accept your Pwel like it is.
Yeah, and that's why if you ever see a burly man in the jungle on Instagram with a perfect beard, he's not in the jungle. He's not. This is what a jungle beard looks like.
Okay, let me just define what Pwel is, because I think that's not actually an English term. It's kind of a term that we made up here. It's kind of coming from, in French, we have a word that encompass all your body, facial, and hair in general, that spells P-O-I-L, Pwel.
P-O?
Pwel. Ouais, c'est like Pwel.
Yeah.
But with Quebec slang, we kind of say Pwel. And
P-W-E-L.
since we do content in both languages, we wanted to have some sort of integration, so we named it Pwel, P-W-E-L. So if you wonder, that's where it's coming
Pwel.
from. Yeah, you have a term in English for that? Like,
Man, beard?
fur?
Do I? If I wouldn't know. What?
Fur? Like, I don't
Fur.
know.
Oh, fur?
Yeah.
Nah, I wouldn't call it fur. I don't know. I'm not sure if that's the thing. Well, leave a comment in the YouTube video.
Yeah, if you have any ideas, but we kind of like our little
Beard.
Pwel thing going on
Pwel
there.
is good. I like that.
Yeah, it's
Behind
kind
the
of
Pwel. Yeah.
It's kind of a hybrid word.
Yeah. I mean, and I was going to come in and get this all shaped and cleaned up before the podcast. Well, like the week, like I was like, I'm going to go in, in Costa Rica, I was like, I'm going to come back home. I'm going to get my hair cut. I'm going to get my beard trimmed. I'm going to do everything right away the day I get back. But then you're like, yo, you want to be on the podcast? I was like, sure, I might as well leave it for this podcast because it's behind the Pwel.
Behind the Pwel. Maintaining your Pwel on the road. So basically, when you're on the road, you just do whatever you can with what you have at your disposal, and that's it.
Yeah, and I had zero at my disposal. So what do you think, like, what is the, for travel? So my bathroom bag is about this big. It's like, yeah, let's just like look at it. It's like this big. This is about the size of my travel bag. What could I fit? Remember, everything else is in here. I have a toothbrush, I have soap, I have, what else do I have? Whatever is in your bathroom bag normally. What can I bring?
What can you bring?
Just maintain slightly. Like,
just maintain. I would bring like, a good bar or two of either, like, I mean, natural soap or those shampoo and conditioner bar, like as natural as possible.
Like a combined shampoo conditioner?
Yeah, like even natural bar soap, I mean, it's pretty similar to bar shampoo or whatever. So you don't want anything like that can leak.
Well, that's why bar shampoo would be amazing.
Yeah, so I mean, bar shampoo does exist. If you don't have bar shampoo, a natural soap, like a bar of soap would do the trick. Like, I mean, it's still better than nothing. It's natural bar of soaps are made with normally olive oil or coconut oil or whatever. So they kind of moisturize and clean.
And biodegradable or whatnot. Like anything healthy for the environment is good, especially traveling in a place like Costa Rica.
A natural soap, like the one we make, olive oil, coconut oil.
Yeah.
The fragrances are natural too, so they're made with essential oils. Okay. And the only thing,
it all goes in the ocean in the end. So
yeah, that's it. Good. Like I mean, I kind of chucked on one for pictures, and I had to eat a piece of it, and I'm still alive. So good natural soap, bar of soap or 2 or 3 or whatever you need. Good comb. So you just can,
comb,
it's a pretty good and sturdy comb that you can use for your beard and
maybe
your hair.
Not a brush, it's a bit bigger brush, but like a small comb, like something small to travel.
Yeah, something small for travel, something you can fit in the pocket of your bag or whatever, just kind of detangle, remove like any dirt you have stuck in there.
I did have to buy scissors in Costa Rica. I bought like a tiny, tiny pair of scissors, which they've allowed me to fly back with through the States. Oh, yeah. So maybe I'm going to keep those. But tiny pair of scissors because my hairs and my mustache were so long that they were really getting into my mouth, and I was chewing it. I was literally going
Same
through
thing
my
for
teeth.
me. Like I just kind of snipped them this morning. So like that's really like two things. Like the one there and the one from the side. A tip for you: the one from the side, take a little comb, push them this way, and just cut what's left over. So you're not gonna have them in the corner of your mouth. But comb, soap. What do we got? Like what? I mean.
Mini scissors.
Scissors. If you're able to fit them, like scissors, little toenail clippers.
Oh yeah, I've done that. I've clipped my.
Yeah, you got. I mean, toenail clippers can go for beard, but a little grooming kit, like toenail clipper, a little file, and little scissors. Are you able? Like, I mean, you probably can get that into a carry-on, but check luggage, you probably can.
Yeah, I never check luggage, though. I have a carry-on and a backpack.
All right, so like if you carry on, I mean, the toenail clipper probably...
And I'm traveling I'm proud of this, but that's why I'm saying this. I travel for like months at a time with just a carry-on and a backpack. I love it. But that's the thing. It's like, it have to be very minimal. So when it comes to grooming, when it comes to this like bathroom kit, it has to be very minimal as well.
And like authorized in airplanes too. Like I mean, that scissor could have been causing you trouble.
Yeah, exactly.
So lucky, I would probably keep like some a container of beard oil, just for the like the itchiness in the beard, and like even on your hair sometimes, like whatever, like a beard oil is also a very good moisturizer.
Yeah.
It's a very like a lot of the beard oils have very good antimicrobial and antifungal properties.
Yeah.
So when you're on the road, whatever you need, like beard is itchy, your hair is itchy, or you're itchy somewhere, you don't have hand cream or whatever, I mean, beard oil can help you out. Stay away from beard oil with chemicals or artificial fragrances, especially when you're in nature. But
so
beard
no
oil.
trim or nothing. Like, you don't have travel idea. I mean, I would say allow the Pwel when you're traveling.
Yeah,
Allow it.
like I mean, like, it's like during the pandemic, like you rarely have that opportunity to grow.
Yeah.
Like because when you come back here, if you like look like a bushman, people are gonna look at you like a little bit weirdly. But at the same time, I'd say like take that opportunity to kind of experiment with some stuff.
Yeah, why not? I guess.
Like,
people are more accepting of that, I guess, especially when it's a traveler.
Everybody's in the same boat. It's like during the pandemic, every dude like got his hair to grow and was like, oh, like I'm gonna grow my hair. Like I've been willing to do that for a while. My wife loves it. And then 3 months after, they was like, oh, I get like cut that off. I can't stand it anymore. It's too freaking complicated to handle. Like it's not because it's long that it's the less maintenance. The most of the time, the longer, the more complicated to handle.
Okay.
But if you're able, I'd say like I don't know if like would a debrush be?
That's what I was thinking, but it's a little maybe a bit big for my personal bathroom bag. I'm sure it would fit in most general. I'm just a weirdo. Like I'm just like I don't want to bring anything. I want the smallest bags. But like I'm sure, like a debrush would definitely fit in your average.
And would that be
bag.
allowed on airplane? That's the thing.
I think
like,
so. Yeah.
Yeah, because the blade is ceramic, and worst case scenario, I mean.
I think it would be because I have brought an electric shaver with me, like a smaller Philips one. You know those little ones.
Yeah. Let me get one so people have an idea.
Yeah. Good idea. I'm that would fit in your average bathroom bag. Mine is just extra small.
So that's a debrush. Okay, that's a debrush. Okay, it's a debrush.
And that's for your entire body.
Yeah. So this you can use it for. I mean, you can use it for your balls. Okay, let's just put it this way. But you can use it for your beard. You can use it for your whole body. We have a few adapters that clip on it. So you want to get a little beard trim around the ears a little bit. Body hair. I mean. The good thing about that is that it cuts the hair just over the skin level.
Yeah.
When I travel, when I go like on Caribbeans or whatever, I tend not to shave because I get super irritated. I don't know if it's the weather or the heat or the humidity. That I don't want to have that super close shave like I have here because it's just gonna like make my face on fire.
Oh yeah.
So that little bad boy would be pretty useful if I would be stuck in a jungle for a few weeks.
And it's rechargeable USB.
Chargeable USB, portable.
It'll last like a month?
Yeah.
On the battery?
Depends on how much Pwel you got to take out.
I guess that's true.
It depends on
if you do a little bit a day, it's probably
a little bit a day, and you can it's like 90 minutes charge
of runtime. That's good.
And then you can pop it off, clean it, underwater. You can use it in the shower. So I guess that will be a pretty good tool to have on the road to handle all your.
I'll just maybe upgrade my bathroom bag. A little bigger one.
All right. I mean, maybe if you can groom some dogs on the road, I don't know.
Yeah, right.
You know where all that men's. I'm not gonna name the brand. All that American other brand or all those body super popular body balls or whatever trimmer that's available. You know where that's coming from, right?
Cat trimmer.
Yeah, it's like actually the company making these are originally manufacturers of cat and babies. Clippers for cats and babies.
Shave your baby's head?
No, well, I mean...
What do you shave on a baby?
I mean, when you do baby... you don't shave babies like Jung, but you shave baby's head. Babies need haircuts, and young kids, they have super fragile and a super flimsy skin. So if you go there with a regular clipper, first they're scared. They're scared of them, like they hear the noise and they freak out. There's even clipper for babies that have little vacuums. So it kind of sucks all the little hair.
Yeah.
Because first of all, the air is very, very, very thin. So if you go with a regular clipper, the rotation per minute it's too high, so it pushes. It's so high that it pushes thin hair away.
Oh, like with the wind. Like
Yeah, because when as a barber, when I have a client with very thin hair, I'm not gonna use the same clipper than if I have somebody with regular or thick hair, because
didn't know that.
it's just gonna make it more complicated. So lower RPM, less chance of cutting and snagging, and the blade is a little bit different, where it's gonna cut a little bit outside. But like anything else, I mean, you have to read instruction, and this is not like a.
Oh, and you give great instructions. Like when you buy this thing, there's video instructions and everything that you
That was like, I mean,
with that. It's great.
That's one product that we kind of like. We had a ball scream here, okay? That's called Below the Bell Grooming, that we got in the store just for fun. And then it ended up selling like crazy, especially during like Christmas time. I don't want to advertise stuff here, but I just want to get you into the backstory of stuff.
Nah.
So
Shameless advertising for this.
yeah, so technically, like we just sold a lot of this, especially at Christmas for Christmas stocking and stuff. People were just crazy about it, and it would come back. Like people that would get that as a gift would come back and buy more. Like
It's not a joke.
I've been like a automotive painter for many years, and 1 year into that suit, like 60 degrees, and like you're running back and forth. It can get pretty irritated and hot down there. So, I mean, that was a pretty good thing. And then, we had all that craze about ball trimmer all over the place. And so I was like, hey, well, let's see if we can, bring some in just for fun. And kind of found some, ordered a bunch of different models, test it out, try it. I mean, I transformed myself into, how would I call that? A... ball shaver guinea pig.
A guru. Oh, okay. Go.
Yeah, I had kind of to test a bunch
Guinea
of different models. We found something that was decent enough that we would be comfortable. Like we asked them to make a few tweaks here and there, but came out with that. I mean, sold some in the store here and there, like anything else. And then, yeah, that guy. When I told you that he told me, hey, we should do some TikToks, eh?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so then I shot a TikTok videos about that thing in French.
Yeah.
Didn't do anything with it for a week. I think it was like 10:30 at night. I don't know why. I just decided to put that on TikTok. And then my phone was kind of making like weird vibrations all day. And the next morning, like I get notification from online sales on my cell phone, and like I was like, what the hell is going on? And it kept just coming and coming. And like I had like 35 units in stock. So by 1 o'clock, like I was kind of empty from one video on TikTok. So I was like, that's going to be a little bit of lucky shot, like out of stock, put it in pre-order, but people would still order it on pre-order. So it took literally like 4 different shipments to be able to catch up with the demand. Like, it was like selling out.
It's from one TikTok video.
Yeah.
How many views did that get?
Close to 200,000, like
100? 200.
200,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Which is,
I mean, solid.
Wow,
That's a sales
like,
video. It's straight up a sales video.
Oh yeah, like I mean, it just. But again, like people say, yeah, like I could do a free ebook about how I sold $70,000 worth of ball clippers in a few months from one TikTok video. Subscribe now, buy our free ebook.
You could, yeah. I could make an ebook on how to generate 350 times sales for your clients. I've been thinking about it, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. Like what do you call comment qu'il appelle ça des case study?
Case studies, yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
Plenty of case studies on what?
No, well, I mean, we could use what we did as a case study into how to make something go viral. But the things that we're not going to tell people is that it worked 2 years ago and 1 year ago and might not be working
now.
That's the thing.
That's
the thing with these schemes of it's okay to tell people about how you got to where you are.
Yeah.
But it worked back then because the conjecture or whatever, the events made it work back then to make it work up until now, which is if you would be doing the exact same thing today, it would probably not be the same.
Yeah.
Say like it's always easy to make money or try to make money on some techniques that you used before, but you used them before. Like if you're using those techniques now, why would you want everybody else around you or your competitor to know them? Like,
there's also an argument to telling everybody everything, and giving them that value. But I mean that also means you're going to be giving your competitors,
but at the same
all your secrets.
one thing that I thought, like, I'd rather tell everybody what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, and why I'm doing it. Because if I say it, that I'm doing it this way before everybody else start to do it, I mean, people are gonna notice that, hey, these guys, like, did it. They paved the way. Everybody else jumped on board.
Yeah.
But while they'll be jumping on board, what I did now, I'll still be 10 step ahead. See.
Yeah.
So it's always about that, like, and at some point, like, competition, it's always like but talking about that was actually not on our notes there. But do you see some other people trying to do what you're doing?
What I'm doing, not quite. I mean, I see like fans of mine who are like trying to just being inspired by what I'm doing and creating a video. It's not really competition because they're like, hey, I learned this from HeyKeegs and I'm trying. HeyKeegs is my handle. Yeah. They're just like, yeah, I just try this because HeyKeegs. There are not really. There's this other guy who's been doing this in New York, the Doggist, who's like the OG dog photographer. He's been doing it for years and got huge on Instagram back when Instagram was a very
photography
growable. No,
okay,
it was very growable. You could grow quickly. He's still doing it now in Reels and everything, and we're doing the same thing essentially. But he's doing photo, I'm doing more video.
Okay.
But I definitely see him. Maybe he sees me more as competition, or not. Maybe not. I think I love his stuff, and I think like I get some inspiration from him. So he's definitely not competition to me. I don't see other people doing dog photography, but I do see a lot of people doing like GoPro, street photography, but not in the way I do it with the 360 camera. It's like I do think my content is still quite unique and no one's really caught on the same way I do it.
Yeah, because that's one thing now we all see, like, we saw that in the barbering where, like, when, one guy would give haircut to people on the street, and then, like, everybody started, like, doing haircut on the street to random people. And then, like, just take the freaking Mr. Beast example. Everybody wants to be Mr. Beast. Everybody wants to freaking throw away cash at people to get some views.
Yeah.
But Mr. Beast is Mr. Beast. Yeah. You're never going to be Mr. Beast because, like, he's like 16 million years ahead of everybody else in what he's doing.
And not just ahead of everyone. Well, yeah, but the thing is also, if you try to do what he's doing, you're going to automatically be seen as a copycat.
That's exactly it. Like, I mean, even Mr. Beast himself was saying, like, the next Mr. Beast is not going to be doing what I do.
Yeah, no.
Because nobody's ever going to catch me about what I do, and it's going to be somebody doing something totally different and totally, like, within...
Yeah.
You have to create something unique for people to show, else you're just going to be, like, copying somebody else. And see, that's kind of that kind of gray area that, I mean, if we would not get inspired by other people to do what we do or to do stuff the way we do it, we would still be in the Stone Age. Like, I mean, like, it's that kind of, like, very, very tricky kind of situation where you get ideas from somebody or you get inspired by somebody, but you're doing your own thing out of it.
This is the advice that I give everybody when they ask me, like, what should I do on social media or whatnot. And this is advice that I got from a very famous musician, right? He's like, take your inspiration. Like, you have to be yourself. That's the first and foremost thing. But you take everything that you love, all of your inspirations, everything that drives you, everything you like to listen to, you like to, in his case, listen to. For me, it's everything I like to watch. And I take the pieces of those that I really love, combine them into my own, and create original content myself. So I would watch a photographer going around on YouTube, Pierre Lambert, doing street photography, and with the GoPro on his chest, and he'd make hour-long videos of him walking around doing street photography, and I loved it. So I'd take that, and then I'd take, interaction with strangers. I used to watch, when I was younger, like prank videos, like people going up to strangers. So I took a little bit of that. Well, I'm not doing pranks, but I take bits and pieces of everything you love, combine it, and make it all better into your own version. And you have to do your own thing. You can't copy people, and you also just have to hope that the stuff that you're doing is going to be liked by the masses. It doesn't even have to be the masses. It could be a niche, Yeah. But you have to hope that it's liked by people. It's just how it is. But you can also adapt, if it doesn't go, right the first time, you adapt and you make it better the next time. And every time you iterate and you improve. It's just like our YouTube videos from scratch. Every single video, you can see if you watch from the first video, it got better and better and better. The lighting, your performance, the editing, everything is just one little step forward every time. And that's why it takes years and years to get to where you
that's one thing like people like shoot for, like I'm just gonna buy all this equipment and get like get views tomorrow morning. You have to be you have to be willing to walk through the steps to bring you there. Like I mean to do dog photography or dog videos outside in like windy, rainy, snowy, all whatever conditions, like you need to master like adjusting your camera. You need to be like in tune with like all your setup.
And on top of that, you got to be interacting and talking with someone you don't know. It's like it's not easy.
Yeah, because like I mean, did you add any? I'm pretty sure it happened to you multiple times that you shot some stuff that you thought was gonna like super good, and then you come back home and then like some of your settings were off. And
oh my god, all the time. GoPro. Oh my god, I hate GoPro. My camera sometimes doesn't even record. That's the problem.
Like I told you last time, it was in my basement. Was super into it. Like shot 3 videos. Was super happy, and then upload the footage, and the freaking sound was not on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But then, like, you need to go through these hiccups.
You learn from
to
your
get
mistakes.
better at it, and like it's not like
you have to make mistakes.
You have to make mistakes. You have to accept that it's not going to be perfect right off the bat,
and it sucks. A lot of times it sucks.
Oh,
it really does. And like I was shooting a video for a brand the other day, and this was like I had to get it done, but the GoPro didn't record. It's like, what? Now I have to go do it again, and it's like I'm on a deadline. I got to get this done. Yeah. It's like, it sucks, but you learn.
So then you have to do that. So next time you're going to double check that everything is working, or you're going to have a second GoPro, or like today we have like, it's the first time we set up these mics together.
Yeah.
But I say like, you know what? Like we set up the lab on ourselves, like with the Kamikaz, just in case something goes wrong. Cause like you don't want to spend like, we've been shooting for like, over an hour.
Yeah.
Like spending an hour to set up and probably half an hour to reset. And then like, if it's not working,
yeah, it doesn't work. Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't work. So
I'm reshooting another podcast with a really good friend of mine because the first time we shot, one of the cameras was out of focus. But shit happens,
First time I set up this mic, I was like super happy. The sound's gonna be better and stuff. But then the facial autofocus
not on. Yeah.
No, guess where it focused?
Nowhere.
On the mic and not on my face.
Oh, man.
So the mic was super clean and my face was a little bit blurry. I
hope this camera's working, by the way. Nah, it's good.
Yeah, so I mean, you have to be like, tips and recommendation for people like that. That's what would be your go-to, like if somebody wants to start shooting content today, what would be your main recommendation for them?
Take the first step. You might not even know what that first step is, but you just take it. Like whatever seems like the natural first thing to do. If it's like opening your computer, what I like to say is you take the pen and you draw a line. That's it. That's how you start. Yeah. And then you know where to go after that. You're going to figure it out. But it's really about getting past that little bit of resistance in the beginning of starting a project or starting something. If there's something you want to do, just take the first step and understand that it's not going to be good. The first thing you make, the first, second, third, fourth, fifth thing that you make,
it's not going to be perfect.
It's going to suck, and it's okay. It's really fine that it's going to suck. You don't even have to post it, but the fact that you made it, you get to complete it. Posting it is a good thing, I think. I think it's great, even if it's not good. If you think it's not good, post it anyways, because you're going to get feedback. You're going to learn from people.
Yeah, because I would say, like, if you shoot something that you think is not good, show it to a few people that you know. Like, I always think that my stuff is not good.
Yeah.
But then the more you do, the more you get people that are like, hey, I saw that video. It helped me out a lot. Your videos quality is amazing. You look so natural in front of the camera. Like, I've never...
It's been a long time. You've been doing it a while.
Like looking natural in front of the camera, that's the most freaking awkward thing that I do in my life. Like maybe less and less.
Yeah.
But at the beginning it was like,
oh yeah,
where you look, the light, the camera, like you have all your thing in your mind, and then it all escape from your brain because you have to look at the camera, you have to make sure, and then it always goes to shit. So stop. Like I'd say, people don't expect it to be perfect.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Just do it. And I think that the other thing I would say is like, it's important to accept yourself as you are in the moment that you're creating this content. And like a lot of times I've shot something and I'm editing. I'm like, oh man, I wish I said this. I wish I said that. I wish I said that. But like that's me not accepting myself as I was in the moment. Like here, we're not going to redo this podcast because I wish I would have said something. It's just this is us. This is us in this moment.
Yeah.
You just have to accept it.
Yeah, and
then
when you're
move
gonna
on,
see
move
it,
forward.
maybe you're gonna like next time you do one, you're gonna say like, oh yeah, like the last podcast, I wish I would have like done this a little bit differently, and you're gonna think about it and you're gonna improve from there. So
yeah, exactly.
it's always like I mean, doing it is 90% of the job. Like you're already in the 10% are doing it. Like
Yeah.
people say they're gonna do it, say they want to do it, think they want to do it, but then there's the people that actually do it.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, your goal shouldn't be to go viral right away, but it's okay to want that. But you have to know that it's probably better if you don't go viral the first 10 videos that you post. Who said that? Someone I remember seeing a TikTok or something on something. But you don't want to go viral the first 10 posts. You want to learn and grow. And by the time you do end up going viral after 10, 15, 20 posts or whatever, or 50 posts, it could be 50 posts.
Because then when you go viral, people expect some stuff from you after. Like they want to see you again. Like and maybe
if you go viral that first video, then you're like, oh shit, how did I do that? Oh, now I got to replicate that. Oh no, I don't know what I did. Like you learn from experience and from repetition.
Exactly it. Like I learned probably more in the last 2 years making content because of what the feedback that I get from people, the question people ask on comments, by example. I was like, how do you get all those ideas to just make content like in perpetuity?
Yeah.
But then you get people commenting and asking you questions, and you're like, oh, never thought about doing thing
maybe
about
I should
that.
make that kind of video next time. Exactly.
Yeah, and you get inspiration, and then you just deepen your own knowledge about stuff. Because I mean, you always want to make sure that the information, like even if I know stuff, I'm just gonna go double check or like fact check my things, especially when it goes to it comes down to a specific product or like time frame or whatever. You don't want to you want to make sure you're passing on the right information. So all the research you're doing and like the equipment into like the topics and stuff like that, it's just bringing you to have a lot more knowledge on and to be able to give you even more. So
yeah, exactly.
It's kind of an infinite freaking like you're posting stuff and then you get feedback. You're posting stuff, you get feedback, and it just never stops.
Yeah. And it's cool. You build momentum, and at some point or another, it just becomes more of a wheel rolling downhill, and you just can't stop it because of the amount of momentum you've built up. And like now, for example, for me, brands want to work with me, so I have to keep making content, and I'm happy to keep making this content. But it's like I'm not at this point. I feel like I'm not even controlling what's happening on my channel. It's sort of just running itself, and I'm feeding it what it needs to be fed. And yeah, it's cool to be at that point where like now I'm less like, oh, what should I do next? It just seems quite obvious, and that's just from doing it for quite a while now.
But especially since you have like so revenue started being generated by that, you can just even make it more better, like you say.
Yeah, exactly.
Just make more and more content, may spend more time doing it. And if people continue to engage, I mean, you have like, an income stream. You can continue to work doing what you love and make people happy watching your content. So it's kind of that like, both ways. Like I say, like I'm giving and taking, and like it just makes something that's working for you and for people following you. Yeah. So
I think these days everybody needs to be a content creator. Like not everybody, but it's a huge part of our world now, right? And it is what is it? It's you can't stop it.
No, well, and that's sometimes like, now, right? How do you make some noise in a world that's polluted by ads going like on the TV and the radio and stuff like that? Like I was saying, like TV, who watches TV ads now? Yeah, right. I mean, you don't watch TV ads, but now you're getting TV ads on YouTube.
Yeah.
Well, people like, I mean, they like TV to me, it's like, stock photography now. Like people are like, we know it's fake. We know that, that TV channel is making stuff that's already like super polished and super nice. And like that, the host is actually like being told what to say and getting makeup and the light.
It's not as real.
It's not as real. Like we're in our shop during our free time talking to us about what we do. So like, that's how we can make enough noise to reach you guys. And that's how we've been able to make enough noise to get our small business to survive through a goddamn pandemic.
That's what people want to see now too.
So they want
That's how it
to.
is.
Yeah, that's it. So hope you enjoy this. It's pretty. I think we said enough for today.
I think it was great. Yeah.
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 I mean, thanks for coming, Keegan. It's always a pleasure. Good to know you're in Montreal for a bit now. So I'm
keep
gonna
making videos.
Huh?
Keep making some videos.
Yeah, we'll keep making some videos. If you have any questions or comment for Keegan or myself, like feel free to drop them down below. We'll be making a little bit more of these when the opportunity comes and we have some guests that fits the scope. So
I'll be back behind the camera.
all right. So thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button, press like, call all your friends, and tell them you just watched the greatest piece of content that you ever seen in your life. Cheers.